That means we are live.
Not seeing us up on our page yet here.
Yeah,
YouTube has a bit of a delay with OBS.
there we go. Now I'm seeing it pop up on
All right.
up for
Well,
me.
we're popping up. You might as well
Yep.
get started there, Rob.
Yeah, might as
Let's
well
do
just get
it.
it started. Oh,
Dun,
I'm,
dun.
I'm just getting my stuff ready here too. Hey, here we are. I see us. Okay, so we're ready. We're live. We're going. Welcome to the Level One Lounge podcast, where we give our uneducated takes on everything and anything gaming. And this week it's going to be unedited because we are live. I'm your host for this week. I got to turn. Whoops! I forgot to turn down my volume on my laptop. Hold on. One second. Okay.
See, what's a
All
live
right.
stream without technical difficulties right off the
Exactly.
rip, right?
What's a live stream without the stuff? So, all right. So let's just get right down into it. I'm your host for this week, the one, the only, the second Irish Bandit, and of course, I'm joined by my two colleagues, Rider Pride 639 and Agent Maverick 86. Gentlemen, how you doing
guys.
this week?
Oh, we're doing all right. It's been a week, that's for sure.
It's been a week. Yes, it has. We did not have an episode last week because somebody futzed with the flux capacitor and we couldn't get everything up to you. But here we are this week. We're live. We're in living color and we are ready to go. All right. Well, we always start the show with an opening question. And this week's question is, with Gamescom coming up next week, which we are going to be live for as well, what are we looking forward to as far as anything goes for Gamescom?
Ryder, why don't you field this question first? Because I have a couple things that I'm kind of predicting that are out in left field. I want to hear your takes here first.
Well, I'm expecting there to be some video games. I expect there to be a host at the show. Actually, honestly, I haven't really thought about it.
No, me neither.
I mean, obviously, like there's still a lot of games that we're looking forward to that haven't come out yet. Obviously, we're gonna be looking forward to AC Shadows. By the time Gamescom rolls around, would be just before the Outlaws release. They might throw one quick little blurb just to kind of remind people, going, "Hey, this is coming out next week." AC Shadows, Indiana Jones. Obviously, we're gonna see something about that. Hopefully, we'll get some more confirmation on maybe possibly a release date. I do know that I believe you had mentioned, Mav, that Sony isn't going to be there, but I imagine there probably will be titles that are still going to show up that will be released on PlayStation. But we're not obviously we're not going to see anything kind of dedicated to that whole Sony package. But
so no PlayStation exclusive games.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, thank goodness, because I mean, obviously, we've said it enough times before. We're ushering out the age of exclusivity, so thank goodness for that. But I imagine PlayStation's probably got a few big things up their sleeve for their own state of play.
I don't think it's going to be state of play next month. I've got a feeling we're going to be looking at a showcase, which, as you guys are aware, there's a huge difference between a showcase and a state of play.
Yeah, state of play
is like 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes half hour.
Yeah.
Showcase is going to be probably 2 hour,
give or take.
Yeah. So I did actually come up with a list of games that are still expected for this year. So the ones that are still on the list that I'm expecting that we'll probably end up seeing, Where the Winds Meet, Phantom Blade Zero, Dune Awakening, Dragon Age The Veilguard. I know Monster's looking forward to this one, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, Indiana Jones, Screenbound, Towerborn, and Clockwork Revolution. I'm expecting that we're going to get a release date for all of those games here next week. My off-the-wall prediction that I'm kind of hoping we hear at least something more about is Wonder Woman. This game's been in development. Like, we've known about this game for 2 years, and we've heard nothing about it. All we know is that it's being made by Monolith, and they're using the Nemesis system, which I know you guys aren't really familiar with, because I don't know if either one of you guys have played Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War.
Barely.
But it's like a rivalry system. So every interaction you have with an enemy ends up impacting an interaction with them later on. So I think there's going to be something along those lines with that game. So we'll see how that kind of pans out. But I'm kind of hoping we get some kind of news on that. So outside of that, that's kind of what I'm expecting to see. I know that we're probably going to be getting a release date at least for Indiana Jones. I think that's the one that a lot of people are most excited for on that list.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so
So-
as well for Indiana.
What about you, Irish?
For me, I think the most off the wall thing that I can think of is that we're going to get an announcement for a PC release for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's about as much as I can think of. Because, I mean, Jeff Keighley and Square Enix are like that, if you really think about it.
Yeah, and the
So-
exclusivity clause is done this year because it was only a
done.
6-month clause this year, or
Wasn't
for
even
this
that.
title, or was it only 3?
Wasn't
No,
even-
it was only like a 3-month or 3 or 4
Yeah, it
months.
was only 3 months.
Yeah.
It ended in May of this year.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So
I would like to agree with you, but I think there's a couple other games that are slated for PC release that are going to be ahead of it. We maybe get some kind of information about it for next year.
Maybe.
But because God of War Ragnarok is right around the corner, and I know that there's a few other things that they have in mind, and there's a big release that's starting to be rumored, and we may see that too. Is Red Dead Redemption might finally make its way over to PC.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, so
That'd
that's
be
what
really
I've been
cool.
hearing recently as well. That's just rumors. Nothing's been confirmed for that as well.
Yeah.
Anything else, I really don't know. I think some of the big games that we've been waiting on that haven't had release dates yet, I think we're going to get release dates for, like you said. Maybe a little more information on Doom the Dark Age. That'd be nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to that one. Other than that, there's nothing I can really think of. It's nothing that I'm going to be like disappointed if I don't see. But
Mhm.
you know how I view these things. I just go into them blind and get excited when something I like gets announced. So
Yeah. See, that's the way to go about it. I feel like too many people get their hopes so high, and then when it doesn't quite meet their expectations, it's raw rage on the internet.
I just
Exactly.
hope it's better than Summer Games Fest. I kind of felt that one was a little lackluster. I mean, other
It was.
than the Xbox showcase, like Xbox knocked it out of the park, and they're
Oh,
the ones
yeah.
that kept everything
Mhm.
together, which is so weird because it's just like they were the unsung hero this year, which is just completely uh, out of left field. It was fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's our opening question for this week. So we can just jump right in news. And boy, do we have a lot of news to get to.
Strap yourselves
So
in, boys.
Yeah, strap in and get ready. Unfortunately, we're starting with a little bit of sad news. So if somebody can play some sad music for us here in this section. But it's being reported that Game Informer magazine is shutting down. After 33 years, one of the most prominent and last remaining video game magazines will no longer be published. Its staff has reportedly been laid off. Game Informer had this to say on their Twitter X account. I'm calling it Twitter because just imagine what fingers I'm holding up for Muskie. After 33 thrilling years of bringing you the latest news, reviews, and insight from the ever evolving world of gaming, it is with a heavy heart that we announce the closure of Game Informer. From the early days of pixelated adventures to today's immersive virtual realms, we've been honored to share the incredible journey with you, our loyal readers. While our presses may stop, the passion for gaming that we've cultivated together will continue to live on. Thank you for being part of our epic quest, and may your own gaming adventures never. So this is kind of this is a I want to say this is a big blow, but in the age of the internet, where we have things so readily accessible, is there even a need for magazines like this or GamePro or Electronic Gaming Monthly anymore?
Oh, you got to bring out my childhood like that and just stick a
Yeah, I
knife in
know.
it, didn't
I know. So I'm bringing out my childhood too. So
Yeah. I mean, I remember, the days of EGMs. I used to buy that book or that magazine religiously. Especially when they come with free CDs. You get
Yeah.
all kinds of free shareware games and things like that.
I remember buying the official PlayStation magazine when I had my PS1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you had the demo discs and stuff
Yeah, exactly.
included with that one
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Nintendo Monthly, or what was the Nintendo one?
Nintendo Power.
Nintendo.
Power.
Yes, that's the one.
And actually, you can still see those ones archived online.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to chat with Monster, he was going through it the other day. He just hear the nostalgia in his voice when I was chatting with him.
I would be the same, honestly.
Oh, same.
When it comes to this, I'm gonna say that I'm not getting our news from from Game Informer. I'm not going out and buying a magazine at GameStop every week to get our news.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it's the age of the internet, and it's a digital world. And even I'm starting to come to terms with that. Of not buying physical games anymore. I'm going digital for all my games and stuff now, which is a huge, like, in my mind. It's an end of an era, and
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah, it
same thing
is.
with Game Informer too. It's another end of an era. But again, no one's gonna go out and buy those magazines anyways. And I mean,
Yeah.
even GameStop, when I was last in there, they're talking about trying to find a way to change their perspective of their business plan, because no one's coming buying physical games anymore. They come and get the consoles from them, and then they just disappear. And I mean, everything is online now for even those sales of getting physical consoles. No one's rushing to the store to pick them up anymore.
And I think that's why we're seeing like GameStops. Like you're seeing a lot more like physical merchandise in the stores as opposed to games. Like you notice how the stuffy wall is getting a little bit bigger. The T-shirt wall is getting a little bit bigger. The Pokemon cards, like the physical card game, is getting a little bit bigger. Even though you can play that one online too. Um,
Their
yeah, no,
Funko Pops
it's
are getting
Yeah,
bigger, and
yeah.
yeah,
props, memorabilia,
yeah.
where
I feel like
games is just like a
Funko.
little section.
Yeah, I feel like Funko Pops is going to be one of those things that kind of withstands the test of time for a bit, just because of its collectability. So, yeah, like I said,
Like you
yeah.
have,
So I mean, yeah, GameStops, yeah, they're like the game wall sections are getting a little bit smaller. The merchandise sections are getting a little bit bigger. All the collectibles and things like that. So, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's the end of an era. It's a sign of the times changing. It is what it is. That's the way it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Time to get with the times. Go digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Go digital or get left behind.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on, the Borderlands movie is underperforming at the box office. That's just a nice way to say the Borderlands movie bombed big time. Uh,
Yeah, I was going to put that as the title, but I when I was typing that into Google trying to find it, you know, I didn't want to get flagged.
ah, true. Good point. Good point. The film pulled in just 8.8 million in the U.S. and Canadian box office its opening weekend, plus 7.7 million overseas for a global total of 16.5 million. As a point of comparison, the incredibly successful Deadpool and Wolverine pulled in 96 million on its opening day in the U.S. alone. Uh, Randy Randy Pitchford, who worked on the game and is an executive producer of the movie, responded in a tweet. So what you're saying is you like what my friends and I do with our Borderlands video game even more than you like what some of the biggest, best cast and crew of filmmakers on the planet have done. I'm super flattered. We're working extra hard for you on with four spelled FUFOUR. That's a big hint right there, if you ask me. At least Randy is seeing the positive rather than catastrophize at the box office. The catastrophe at the box office. I was trying to go big, but anyway.
Yeah,
Does it shock anyone that the Borderlands movie is
uh,
underperforming?
a
no,
little, a little.
not
To
even a
be
little
honest,
bit for me.
You take a
for
look at
me,
the
just a
cast
little.
power in it, though. Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Kate
Should that be
Blanchett.
a
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett? Should have that been a recipe for success?
That's exactly where I was saying, like, I'm a little shocked that it didn't pan out. I mean, we're in the age of video games are actually finally making an impact for movies, and
Right.
we're getting The Last of Us. There's been some decent video game adaptations now, and I was hopeful that this was going to do well, because I wouldn't mind seeing more on the big screen when it comes to it, but they have to be true to the source material. And
Right.
Randy being involved as a producer and on the game made sense. but I also get the feeling that he didn't have a ton of input because of with the direction and the writing and everything as well. So I'm kind of curious on. I never really looked into the involvement of those people that were writing the script or
Right.
directing. Um, so it's a shame because I really thought that there was going to be an improvement with video game movies, and now this kind of feels like it's another step or two back. So
And especially for some of the careers that these people are involved in, and you're absolutely right. Like you take a look at the cast list, that cast is a recipe for success, just not in this setting.
Yeah,
Like all the actors and actresses that are involved in this movie are all amazing in their own rights. They've all brought home awards. They've done amazing movies together. But yeah, you throw this list of characters on a Borderlands cast, and I said it right when they released the cast list for it. I'm like, this is not good. This is not going to be good. Nothing about this cast makes sense for the characters they play, because I'm big into the Borderlands franchise. I've played through almost all the games. I think the only ones I haven't played through are like the Tales of series. But I mean, like Kate Blanchett as great actress, but you're playing a character who's supposed to be in her mid to late 20s, if not early 30s. So that casting direction didn't make sense. And then you got Kevin Hart, who's supposed to play one of the most badass characters in the Borderlands franchise with Roland. And you chose someone who's 5'2". like Kevin Hart's great in his own right. Like he's a really, really funny guy, but to put him as like a big badass military leader who's supposed to be like over 6 feet, by the way, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina, I think is an okay choice. I'm not really familiar with her work, so I'd have to see the movie to see, does she play Tiny Tina well? The only one that really makes sense out of the whole thing is Jack Black as Claptrap.
Yeah.
So
the one thing that we do have to address, and actually Chewy just brought it up in chat, so that I was actually just getting into that. Chewy, thank you. Let's be honest with everyone here. They were competing against Deadpool Wolverine. Like
they were competing against themselves.
Thinking? Like, yeah, I mean, Deadpool Wolverine is killing it in the box office right now. Why would you
Marvel's
try?
Renaissance.
Like, why would you put this movie out now to compete with Deadpool Wolverine? That's what my thought pattern is. It was the exact same thought pattern that we had with Concord and announced alongside Marvel Rivals with the PlayStation State of Play. It's the same reaction of, does this make any bloody sense? So
honestly, I don't think that had anything to do with it at all. You could have put this cast of Borderlands up against Tommy Wiseau and the re-release of The Room, and The Room would have smashed this movie out of the park. So I mean,
yeah. Well, it looks like Chewy's agreeing with you, but yeah, and for me, I'm not familiar with Borderlands. Ryder, you definitely are.
Yeah.
So I mean,
everyone hated the casting at first. Now everyone still hates the casting now.
Yeah,
including me.
But
if that wasn't plainly
I'm
obvious,
making the argument that I don't think Deadpool Wolverine helped their argument either.
No, it most certainly didn't.
Twofold, with that problem. So that was my standpoint. So I absolutely agree. Under the circumstances, I'm not familiar with the cast, so I can't really make that argument. But I definitely trust what you guys are saying. It makes total sense to me too.
And in protest of the movie, I'm going to drink one of these bad boys here.
What are you drinking? I know it's a Mountain Dew.
Baja Blast Zero.
Oh, good choice.
Because I got to cut back on the sugar intake.
Doesn't know. It could have been a Coke. It could have been an RC. Oh, whoever wants to give us money.
Hey, look, it's the same height as Kevin Hart.
Anyways, we should probably move on there, guys. Why don't we jump to the next one there?
Sure, we'll move on to the next news story, and that is that God of War developer Sony Santa Monica is reportedly working on a new IP. After the launch of God of War Ragnarok on PS4 and PS5 back in 2022, producer Corey Barlog said the studio was working on many different projects. However, he didn't provide specifics on any of them. Sony Santa Monica was reportedly working as on an open world sci-fi game before it was canceled. God of War has been a staple for Santa Monica for the past 20 years. This will be the first new IP for Santa Monica since the original God of War. So, do we have any speculation what this new game could be?
First of all, Mike, I see you, and yes,
What's up, Monster?
he said thank Christ.
Mm.
So I'm very excited for this. Santa Monica is a great developer, and they've been fantastic for storytelling. So it's going to be great, I think, for them to be able to focus on something else.
Mm.
I'm a huge fan of God of War, but
Mhm.
I'm very excited to see what they pull out now. Yes, I am. I am excited for something new.
Sad dads in space, yeah.
Maybe.
Let's go.
They said that project was canceled though, so it may not be Sad Dads in Space.
It'll just be something about sad dads.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And like, I'm very excited for what they come up with. I mean, I'm always going to be for more God of War and more Sad Dads for God of War. But you know, it's going to be refreshing to see them do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, not to put a knock on the God of War series. I mean, it was a franchise that I never got into up until Mav kind of got me into it. Playing the first game, and I've got Ragnarok sitting right over here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Kind of waiting,
to play that one.
kind of
Yeah.
waiting in the weeds to play that one. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So before I get to my point, by the way, if anybody hasn't done so already, make sure drop a like on the live stream, please.
And
Gripping storytelling.
Answer
If you
your
stumble across our
question.
live-
Other than
Yeah.
God of War, what has Santa Monica done? I don't believe they've done anything else other than God of War. But
There's probably some lesser known titles that are in their list, but
maybe.
it's probably been a while since they've pulled something out.
yeah,
Before it was Sad Dad, it was Angry Dad. That's true. He was very, very angry.
He wasn't a dad. He was just an angry guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before
But-
the
and-
2018
And Monster, I
God of
don't
War, he wasn't a
hate
dad.
you. I've just got other games on the backlog. That's all it is, but it's nothing personal.
And to go back what Ryder's saying, if you stumble across our podcast and you like what you see, hit that subscribe button as well.
Yeah.
So, ready to move on to the next news
Yeah,
story?
let's do
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, it appears that Xbox Series X and S are going to be getting a price increase in one of its most difficult markets. Over the past few weeks, there have been a few key indicators as to how the Xbox business, with a variety of issues breaking in the mainstream. These have ranged from price increases to value cuts to failing sales. Now admits what is a difficult time for the company. Microsoft has announced a price increase in one of its most notoriously difficult. The Series X will be 59,978 yen, or
That's the old price. That's the old price.
Yeah. Oh, and it's increasing to 66,978 yen. The 1 terabyte Series S originally was 44. I suck at math. Was originally 44,578 yen, and it'll be increasing to 49,978 yen. And the 512 gigabyte S was originally 37,978 yen. Jesus Christ, these numbers are coming at me. To 44,578 yen. And like I said, those are all in British pounds, and I'm not doing the conversion to Canadian dollars.
No,
Someone else wants to
it's
have at it.
definitely an increase.
Oh, yeah.
So Monster, I don't think they hate. I don't think they hate China. I just don't. I think that they're just trying to gain more revenue for the sales that they have. As of right now, there actually was an article that I could have added to this. Xbox revenue has actually declined, but their subscription and content defined success is what they're saying in this one. They had something like 13% of their revenue was actually generated by console sales. So let's face facts. They don't. We've talked about this before. Monster, you've told me this. We've talked to you about this before as well. They don't care to sell the consoles. They want to sell the subscriptions. That's what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
Sell it the Fire Stick, sell it on the TVs, sell the controllers, and I mean, yeah, okay, maybe China has issues with them, but I mean, it's some of the Chinese developers had problems with them too. Because take a look at what Black Myth Wukong said. We don't care to sell it on Xbox because you don't sell you don't sell game consoles in China. So I mean, it's probably two-way street. But anyways, yeah. Sorry, revenue here 14% across quarter four of this year was
Oh, wow.
the revenue that was generated for consoles. They're not selling consoles anywhere. They're selling subscriptions. That's where they make their money. They don't care.
This chat is lit. Also, hi, wifey. Shout out to the wife on the live stream. There we go. I agree. It's especially with the way that we've been kind of discussing on the way technology is progressing. Eventually, chance, maybe that's something we hear at Gamescom too. Although I highly doubt it now, but maybe we see something along the lines of a Microsoft handheld, to compete with the Switch and the PS Portal. Something to access Xbox Game Pass, kind of wherever you go type of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's if the console's not selling well, raising the prices. I mean, obviously it could just be an inflationary thing. It could be, there could be a multitude of factors going into it. But yeah, I mean, I mean, what are you gonna do, really? You're already not selling consoles very, very well over in China. I don't think this moves the needle in any way, shape, or form. Oh, excuse me. Just based on the way that the economy works in the eastern parts of Asia. It's not just China, but we're talking like Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Vietnam. All those economies all kind of blend together in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
Chewy, before you say it, I know what you're going to say. Don't say it in chat, please.
He already did.
Did he?
Yeah,
damn.
he said. Yeah, he said. Yeah, but when he added Mike, he's like, "Who cares?" Because remember, that's what the actual quote was. Nobody cares.
That's good though. Yeah, I just they care more about the subscriptions. They're going to sell it on Fire Sticks. They're going to sell, like, there's bundles now with controllers and that type of thing with the Fire Sticks. Like they don't care. They don't care.
They just want those subscriptions.
I imagine you're going to see it with other hardware too. Like not like if you buy the Fire Stick Plus, or you buy an Xbox Elite 2 controller, or you buy a brand new Toshiba. I don't even know if Toshiba still makes TVs, but I was going to say Sony, but that's almost kind of that almost kind of
it could happen.
Insulting, almost a little insulting. But anyways, you get the idea. Like, you can buy a brand new TV, you buy a brand new piece of hardware, you get a free 3-month subscription to Game Pass. To really kind of wet your whistle a little bit, and after that 3 months, you're like, I want to keep playing this game. I guess I better subscribe. So yeah, no, I think that's exact. I think you're exactly right on that map. That's the needle they want to move, is the subs.
And just a reminder to everybody out there, Game Pass prices are going up next month. If you want to save a little bit of cash, go get those cards now.
Hey, Monster,
I paid.
Do me a favor in chat.
The same thing.
Do me a favor in chat.
Don't do that, because then you have to verify. That's what happened on Twitch the other day. No, but like I've paid up for Game Pass until I believe May of next year now. And I might take a look at getting another 3 months here in the next couple days, because I mean, might as well save a little extra cash and get it now. But
yeah,
I mean, just because Monster's not here, remember, you can get the Game Pass at xbox.ca. Check there for details.
That's what Ryder was trying to get him to do in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the ROG Ally came with 3 months of Game Pass for a while too. I did not know that. That's actually one of the handhelds I've been eyeballing a little bit, in terms of, like, especially now that I'm going to be doing these overnight shifts at work. Having something to play at work would be nice. Either that or a Portal.
Hey, there would. All right, so let's move on to our next news story. And Sony has revealed that the PlayStation 5 has already sold 61.8 million units worldwide. This means the console shipped another 2.4 million units during the last quarter, which ended on June 3rd. The company registered a drop in its hardware sales compared to the same period last fiscal year, as there was a decrease of 0.9 million units. This represents 27% fewer sales. An argument could be made as sales have begun to drop as fans are bracing for the announcement and the release of the PS5 Pro. What are your thoughts, John?
I'm waiting for it. I'm excited to see what the PS5 Pro is about.
I mean, speaking for somebody that's upgraded recently, I the Pro's not going to move the needle much for me right now,
Yeah.
anyways. But I realize that a lot of people have been waiting for this system, and I mean, it makes sense that the sales have dropped, and it's going to be people like me right now that, oh, I got it replacing the PS5 that I have, or I don't care to have the Pro. I don't want to spend extra money on that for next for this console. Like I'll wait for the Pro. Like I'll spend the extra money when it comes out, or I don't have that income right now. I'll just buy this Slim, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And yes, I see what you're saying there, Chewy. I did kind of make that prediction before, but from what I've been hearing as well, the PlayStation 5 is on its the last quarter of its life. So we should be seeing something in the next few years, I'm thinking anyways. So I think they were saying 2026 will be when the next consoles will be released. So
Released or announced?
I would imagine now.
Released and announced. It'll be released or announced probably early in the year, and then released for the holiday season.
I wouldn't think this early, not 2026. For a new gen console, no.
Well,
I wouldn't think so.
Prediction might be if 2028 might be a little bit closer, but I don't. It's not going to happen in the next year at least, but another year, 2-3 years is definitely likely. But either way, PlayStation 5 Pro, I get the hype for it. I think it's they got to do it. For patents released for it a few years before, and it is what it is, and it's definitely the reason why their sales have dropped. But they've also sold 61.8 units, and they've outsold Xbox 5-1.
Yeah.
So they're winning the hardware race. But again, I still think that Microsoft is doing better because of the subscription, and I think Sony's been playing catch up since the acquisitions of Activision and Blizzard.
Yeah, no, like I said, I'm excited for the Pro. I mean, I'll probably do the same thing that you did. I'll eventually trade this in, and not for the sake of trading it in. Like, obviously, if the PlayStation Pro has the right kind of hardware that I think would last me a while, I'll trade this one in, mostly to get a refreshed warranty, because the warranty on this one's expired now. So I'm just knock on wood, hoping this thing lasts until then.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, getting a refresh warranty will be nice. Getting some updated hardware will be nice. Like I said, I'm a tech head, so I'm always looking at new technology and things like that. It'll be interesting to see what the Nintendo Super Switch does. They just play by they do. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have to play by anybody else's rules, because they've basically built their own sustainable ecosystem. So yeah, it doesn't matter what Microsoft or Sony does. It's just Nintendo's Nintendo. That plumber is gonna keep moving consoles no matter what.
Oh, hell yeah.
For next
Yeah.
gen subscription, yeah. God bless Nintendo. Yeah.
Well, and I'm sure that they'll make an appearance at Gamescom as well, but I haven't seen
Oh, absolutely.
anything for sure that anything's been announced on their side yet. But I'm sure that there'll be something that's there next week. So
Yeah, probably nothing
tune in
groundbreaking.
next week. Tune in next week
Yeah.
on Tuesday for our Gamescom reaction. I think we're going to try going for 7:30 again.
Give or take, yeah.
Okay.
Stay tuned on our socials, and we'll let you guys know. But
Yes, follow us on
I'm
Facebook.
excited for that. Yes.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Blue Sky Social, and drop a like on this video too, and subscribe for when that that live stream happens.
Yeah, so make sure you got that notification bell turned on.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our next story, and that is that Warner Brothers is looking at outsourcing its famous IP to external game studios. In a recent earnings call, CEO David Zaslav talked about the growing medium of games and how the team wants to take advantage of that with its own series. Zaslav says that the company has a lot of interest from other studios wanting to use its IP, hinting that WB may have take up some of those offers to get bigger in the future. Both Hogwarts Legacy and Maverick's favorite game, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, are
Don't talk
examples
about
of.
that.
I had to. Are examples of successes and failures from its own internal studios and times. David Zaslav was quoted saying, "We have 11 studios here, and we have a lot of IP, and there's also a lot of interest among in the coming others incoming to take advantage of some of that IP for gaming, which we're looking because, as JB said, we need to get bigger, and the IPs that we and the value that it has in the gaming space is something advantage of." Zaslav continued with, quote, "You still need a great game, and the reality is we've had the unfortunate in a short period of 12 months. We went from having the record year in 2023 with Hogwarts Legacy to unfortunately having the opposite side of the spectrum, Suicide Squad. Do you think any other game studios could do a better job with Warner Brothers IP rather than Warner Brothers?"
I'm going to tell you a concern that I have.
Okay.
WB may be after money, and it might be first come, first serve with the biggest checkbook. And that's what I'm worried about. And it's going to the wrong companies.
Right.
I'm also going to say this. I don't think WB understands some of their material. And yes, I'm talking about Suicide Squad. And I know Save Monster here comments save Suicide Squad. How's that going for you? How many players have you jumped in with lately?
Ooh.
I mean, with all what, two of you guys there? Legacy did fantastic. It was a great game. It was one of my top games for last year. Um, and Suicide Squad needs help. And I think WB needs help with that IP. But I'm concerned of which company is going to be handling it and which one's going to be taking over it. So that is my concern. And I hope to God that they have someone that comes in and deals with things properly. I mentioned Wonder Woman before. I believe that's going to stay. The games that are already in development are going to stay in development.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going
makes
to release
sense.
it. And as I mentioned, the Nemesis system for Wonder Woman, and I'm excited to see what they do with that. But again, it depends on the studio, and they have had some duds. I know that some people had issues with Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, and they hated the fact that the main character ended up becoming a ring wraith at the end of it. Sorry, spoilers. It's been out long enough.
Oh
Get
no,
over it.
spoilers.
Yeah. But the thing is, we do have to also walk within a certain line here as well. That we do have to acknowledge that some of these studios need to be able to tell their own stories, but you need to do it a certain way. And unfortunately, Suicide Squad fell short of that. I had issues with that game. I understand that there's people that had fun with it, but they've played the game and they're done. It's sitting on the shelf gathering dust.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm good with that one to say let it die. I'm good with that one dying. I want games like what they did with Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Knight. I want those games again. And they do have the capability of pushing out games that are great, but they have to have the right people behind the helm. That's my stance. I'm worried about who picks it up and what
Yeah.
people.
And I can see it too. Like all of a sudden they're deciding, oh no, hey, they're gonna release a sequel to Suicide Squad, and all of a sudden you boot up the game, and this is what you hear: EA Sports. It's in the game.
But we can't get too worried about EA too. Like we can't jump to conclusions with that as well
Wait a minute,
because
wait
they
a minute,
did
wait a minute,
well
wait a
with
minute.
Star Wars.
Why would EA Sports be doing a
Oh,
Because it'll be a
game?
beach volleyball game. It'll be
Oh
just
yeah,
like
they just
what
shit
the
Captain Boomerang.
what the
I'm
heck was that
totally
game?
up for a Santana and Wonder Woman beach volleyball game. Go for it.
No, they're gonna
Now
cross
you're
over with
thinking. Now
Dead
you're
or Alive.
Oh.
They're gonna cross over with DOA beach volleyball. That's what's gonna happen.
But yeah, the Suicide Squad needs to go away. I'm good with that game dying. I want to see the actual heroes come in and them get their chance in the light. And I'm going to get ridiculed for this in chat. I don't care. I'm going to say this again. I've said it 100 times. I want a goddamn Superman game. Where is my Superman game?
Where's my
I know I'm
burrito?
never going to get it. I know I'm never actually going to get it, but I want one.
It's like Bart
Yeah.
Simpson that episode going, I'm not leaving until I get my elephant.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, I think it's time to move on to the next news story, and it's some good news. We talked about earlier how Tango GameWorks was earlier this year, how it folded. Tango GameWorks taken over and revived by PUBG publisher Krafton with plans to expand Hi-Fi Rush IP. After abruptly closing its doors in May this year, to the shock of fans and fellow developers, Japanese game studio Tango GameWorks is set to resume its activities under Krafton. The South Korean publisher announced on August 12th that it has taken over Tango GameWorks and welcome its employees with the uh, cooperation of Microsoft and Zelamax Media. Krafton also plans for Hi-Fi Rush IP, which has plans for the Hi-Fi Rush IP, which it acquired rights. However, despite some good news that comes out of Krafton,
That's
there's
that's a different story.
oh, okay.
We'll get back to that. There, Rob.
We'll get to that one in a second, but let's talk about
Yeah.
the good news of Tango being brought back to life. That is some fantastic news because we were talking about how the developers and everyone involved should form their own group, but this is fantastic.
I still have not seen or played anything of Hi-Fi Rush, so
No, me neither. But
I know Monster's gonna grill me over that one, but
I mean, you've also got a long backlog as well. I haven't played it either. I have access to Game Pass. I haven't touched it yet.
I mean my
But
backlog's like 4 games. What are you talking about?
for long games. So I mean, it's not like you're going out and one of those games on your list, by the way, was Red Dead Redemption, like mine was, which I finally was able to cross off my list. But I'll get to that later because I've great game. Anyways,
crossed off Red Dead Redemption, add 5 more.
yeah, pretty much. But in regards to Hi-Fi Rush developer, they're Tango getting another breath of life here. This is fantastic. We need to have more games like Hi-Fi Rush come out of left field and
Mhm.
surprise everyone.
Oh,
They really do deserve their flowers, and I'm excited to see what they do. I just hope that the right people are behind the helm of as well, and see what they come up with. So I mean, there's been too many cases of developers closing,
Yeah.
um,
This year alone.
and it's nice to see one actually get saved for once.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, obviously, I'd like to see a little bit more from Tango as well. I mean, yeah, like having a studio close its doors entirely, and then, pardon me, get more or less brought back from the dead, uh, by the PUBG developer, no less. I mean, PUBG to this day is still fairly popular when it comes to battle royale games.
Do you think that
Um,
they picked up the developers and buried them in the pet cemetery? I was just thinking about that.
Maybe.
it's entirely possible. Who knows? Maybe we'll see a Hi-Fi Rush PUBG crossover. Who knows?
I mean,
That could be interesting.
we're going to be seeing a Disney villains Fortnite crossover, so anything's possible.
I mean, there's already anime skins in Call of Duty for crying out loud.
There's
And
WWE skins into Call of Duty.
yeah, and finishing moves.
Yeah.
And finishing moves as your executions. It's kind of hilarious. Actually, they had a whole mode dedicated to that too, where the only way you could kill your opponent is with the actual finisher. It was kind of hilarious, but anyways, yeah, it's great. It's great to see. Like I said, it's nice to see developers kind of being brought back to life, given another chance. Like I said, with PUBG success, hopefully Crafton and Tango can work together. And bring back either bring back some titles or give us something new. There's always various little smaller titles that not a lot of people know about that end up being big hits, whether that be Balatro, whether that be Cult of the Lamb. There's all different kinds of games like that are out there that are hidden gems, and now Crafton and Tango have a chance to do something like that.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get to the other one that I was so eager to get into this one for some reason. However, despite some good news that came out of Crafton, there's some bad as well. The Callisto Protocol was reportedly forced to launch early by Crafton. The Callisto Protocol director, Glenn Schofield, has claimed that PUBG publisher Crafton forced Striking Distance to release the game early, which led to a ton of cut content. The highest reviews for Callisto Protocol reached 60%. It was deemed a failure. Some patches were introduced that increased reloading time and game's long animation. However, it was never able to bounce back. Callisto Protocol intended to grab Dead Space fans' attention, but ultimately fell. So we've seen this before, where publishers released a game too early. Like, look at Cyberpunk 2077.
No
How
Man's
early that
Sky,
was.
yeah.
No Man's Sky, exactly. So
Let it cook, let it cook,
let it cook.
let it
Yeah,
cook.
that's what we've been saying. Let it cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this particular case, it basically sounds like they probably had contractual deadlines and said, "Sorry, we're out of time. We got to get this thing out the door."
I
Yeah.
actually have a different theory of what ended up happening with that.
Oh, good. Nobody
So
cares.
if I all right, well then I'm hanging up my headset here. I
Budget,
played
yeah.
Callisto Protocol. Yeah, I played Callisto
Budget.
Protocol and I played Dead Space. And Dead Space, of course, was the superior of the two. Go figure. It's just a shame because it was the same creators as Dead Space that made this game as well. Um, so it's a shame that it didn't pan out the way that it was intended. But they were also competing with the remake of Dead Space. I think I the way that they wanted to release before Dead Space came out.
Mm.
And I think that's what their thought pattern was they wanted to make sure that they had the edge of, hey, this we've got while you're waiting for Dead Space, here's Callisto Protocol. And it may have bumped up their numbers a little bit more. Um I I thought the storyline was good for Callisto Protocol. Like I get, but the gameplay is what held that one back a little bit as well. And I feel the game also killed you at times for the sake of killing you. Like you turn a corner and you'd get jumped in, and you'd have no indication that there was an enemy there. Like it just came out of left field. Um, but yes, I do agree, Chewy, that it did get better after the update. Uh, and they do deserve props for giving that update,
I mean,
just like No Man's Sky
so
did.
did
But
Cyberpunk. That got better
yeah,
after this update.
Yeah.
absolutely. But that being said, I prefer Dead Space over Callisto Protocol. I enjoyed it way more. And if I'm going to be picking up one of those games again to play, I'm probably going to pick up Dead Space and play that one again. Um, and that's the way that I'm seeing things, at least anyways. But yeah, I think the Callisto Protocol was trying to compete with Dead Space is where I was getting.
Yeah, and it's never really been a series that I've ever gotten into. I've heard a lot of good things about it though. Um, but yeah, we've seen this before where games release in in a really terrible state, and it usually takes a couple of updates before before they feel really playable again. Um, yeah, like I said, we've seen it with Cyberpunk, we've seen it with Dead Space, or not Dead Space, sorry, No Man's
No Man's
Sky.
Sky.
Yeah, there's probably a handful more games out there that they've gotten better after certain. Diablo, actually, you know what? Diablo 4 would be a good example too. The game was decent at launch, but it was really missing a lot of stuff at the end. Now that we've hit, ever since since season 4, that game has really kind of has hit its resurgence. The Dead Space always plays dumb with the rule of 3.
He was talking about he got to one part in the game where it wasn't the rule of 3, it was like 8. He had 8 different collections, 8 different things to collect.
Mm.
I know the part that he was talking about, that he complains about, and I get where he's coming from on that one. I didn't think it was that big of a deal in my mind. It gave you an opportunity to explore more of the ship and get more supplies, and I I loved the gameplay in that one. And as I said, I felt that it was much better. The zero gravity and aspects of it, and being able to fly around a little bit on the ship was a lot of fun. Um, but I never played the original, and I know Monster is gonna be saying here too. Dead Space was just Dead Space remake was just newer Dead Space. It was the exact same story, nothing new.
Yeah.
There's a few details that were introduced, but if you played the original, you've played the remake. Basically, is the way that he came across things, at least, anyways. Sorry for talking on your behalf, by the way, Monster, if you're still there. But I I never played the original, so I don't have a leg to stand on with that. I loved the remake, which means I probably would have loved the original game as well.
Yeah, that's probably. And voice acting, yeah. Voice acting is always a big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, but Callisto Protocol, they had great actors involved. It's just a shame that it didn't pan out the way that they were hoping.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to our next move.
Our next movie.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I don't know why the hell I was going to say that. Moving on to our next news story. What I meant to say. One of the things that is constant in gaming right now are delays. Well, I mean, other than layoffs, but I'd rather take delays than layoffs. It has been a common theme, and especially with current gen, it seems like it's happening more often. While there are reasons for delays, there have been a few more delays that have occurred recently. Avowed has been pushed to February 18th, 2025. Other games impacted by delays are Terminator Survivors, Little Nightmare 3, Transformers Reactivate. We heard about Transformers Reactivate years ago. I remember my reaction to that one. Ubisoft's mobile The Division Resurgence and Cloudpunk are now slated for 5. This could be due to the release schedule that's still expected this year. Indiana Jones, The Great Circle, Dragon Age, The Veiled Guard, and Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater are still slated for with a 2024 release. However, no release dates have been announced as of yet. We will likely see release dates next games. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too, especially for Snake Eater and Great Circle. So we've said before, we even said in this episode, let them cook, let them cook, let them cook. That's the way I look at delays. Let them cook. I think back to 2020 when remake was about to be released, and Square Enix came out and said we're gonna push it back a month because there are still things we're working on. Even at that point, I was saying, let them cook, let Square Enix do their thing. It's gonna be great. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
okay with delays. Personally, myself,
Uh,
I'm okay with delays if we get a better experience out of it.
yeah, the one exception for sure that I'm aware of is Avowed has been pushed because of the release schedule that Xbox has in
Yeah,
mind for the games that are coming
they have
this
a
year.
hefty release schedule.
Makes total sense to me. Um, so the other ones, there has to be reasons for it as well. Bugs, of course, are always a big thing.
Yeah.
But I also feel that this year there wasn't a whole lot at the beginning of the year, and now at the end of the year, everything's just jam packed. There's so much going on. I mean, the games that I have in mind that I know that I'm hoping to tackle here, I've mentioned a couple of them. Black Myth Wukong comes out next week. I know Ryder's excited for Visions of Mana. Star Wars Outlaws. There's Warhammer Space Marines 2, Stalker 2, Astrobot, Silent Hill 2, Diablo 4 DLC, Metaforce, Shadow and Sonic Generations, Call of Duty still, of course, still coming out this year as well. Assassin's Creed Shadow, Dragon Quest 3. We've mentioned the games that are still slated for this year: Where the Winds Meet, Phantom Blade Zero, Dune, Dragon Age, Metal Gear Solid, Indiana Jones, Screenbound, Towerborn, and Clockwork Revolution. That's all this year still.
Yeah.
Like that's within the next 4 months.
Well,
So
Stalker
of
was
course,
pushed.
yes, it was.
What game went
So
gold and still got delayed? Days Gone? I'm not sure. Mav, you have an answer to that one?
no, I don't offhand. I think Chewie's probably most likely correct on that. And honestly, I love Days Gone, but that one needed a delay at launch. That was a horrible launch, but has been a beloved game like after it's been patched and updated. Another prime example. But that
Yeah.
those patches came a lot quicker than the other games that we were discussing earlier. Um, so there's a lot still coming this year, and personally, I don't know about you gentlemen, but I'm feeling a little overwhelmed when it comes to games, which is kind of first world problem
Yeah,
for this year. So and it's going to come down to one thing, which is voting with your wallet. And I
Yeah.
think we've always discussed that as well on this channel is vote with your wallet, pick the games that you know that you're going to enjoy. And if you're interested in something and you're kind of on the fence, wait for a deep sale, pick it up then. There's no harm in doing that. But regardless, there's still a lot coming this year.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of the way I'm going to do it too, is kind of vote with my wallet. But at the same time, I'm also kind of thinking about, okay, there's a lot of games that I want to play. A lot of the games that I want to play are all kind of coming out right in the same, like right at the same time, within the same week or even within days of each other. So
Yeah,
I gotta kind of got to decide, especially as a content creator. Okay, which one do I want to focus on most? And maybe I'll take the other game and I'll play that one off stream just for myself. So obviously, like with Star Wars Outlaws coming, that's the one I want. I want to stream to my community. Maybe play Visions of Mana off stream because I played Secrets of Mana or Trials of Mana off stream. And then you become around to like October, November. When Assassin's Creed Shadow comes out. Maybe I'll want to play that one off stream, and maybe I'll play Dragon Age Veilguard off stream because I've been playing the Dragon Age games
yeah,
off stream a game as well. So I've definitely got a few decisions to make when it comes to which games am I going to get for my live streams, which games am I going to get just for myself.
yeah.
So
No, that makes total sense. I'm kind of in not in the same boat, but I definitely do want to try working through some of the games that I have. Like, unfortunately, I'm starting to think that maybe Outlaws is going to have to sit on my shelf a little bit, not long, but a couple days because I'm going to have Black Myth Wukong going here early next week, and then I'm gone for a few days here next week. Um, but Chewy, to answer your question, the games that do not have release dates for this year as of yet, Where the Winds Meet, Phantom Blade Zero, Dune, Dragon Age, Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater, Indiana Jones, Screenbound, Towerborn, and Clockwork Revolution. They're all still slated for this year, and they do not have release dates as of yet. So they're all still expected this year, but of course, as we just finished saying, delays happen.
Yeah. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to hear Dragon Age get delayed.
I don't think that's going to happen. Looking at the schedule, I believe it sounds like there's been rumors that it's supposed to be coming out October 29th. And the reason why how I came across that was they announced the artwork is due out that same day. So typically the artwork and the game comes out the same day. So that's where I'm thinking that it is likely that we're going to be seeing an end of October release for that one.
Okay.
We'll have to see on that one. All right, moving on to our second to last news story. Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy finale to potentially use Unreal Engine 5. The Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy is set to conclude with one final game. This entry is yet to be named, but Square Enix hopes to release this installment for 2027. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did use Unreal Engine 4, but is considering using Unreal Engine 5. Why this matters, using Unreal Engine 5 would provide developers with the advanced tools and capabilities of the engine, significantly enhancing the experience. However, switching to a new engine could also extend the development time for the final installment. Other improvements being made is also to the board game Queen's Blood. Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth director Naoko Hamaguchi confirmed that Queen's Blood will be the next game in the Introduced in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Queen's Blood is a card game that allows players to create their own deck and rank up to take on stiffer competition. By all accounts, it's the most popular minigame featured in Rebirth, so to hear that it will be starting in Final Fantasy VII Remake 3 isn't a huge shock. When it does come back, though, Hamaguchi says it will be even better than what has already been Rebirth. So what do we think? Would the switch to Unreal Engine 5 be a benefit to the final game in the series?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the progression of technology. You might as well use it.
Oh, yeah.
Especially considering that we're not going to see it for another couple of years yet. Chances are pretty good by the time that release date comes around, chances are pretty good Unreal Engine 4 is going to be deprecated and end of life. So you might as well be on the new engine, so that way, as they're continuing to build the game, getting closer to release and whatnot, they'll still have actual like technical support behind the scenes for the product. So if they do it on Unreal Engine 4, things get closer to the release date, something goes wrong with the engine, they're not going to have that backbone support for it because of it being deprecated. But I mean, UE5. I mean, I've seen some of it at work. There is a video, kind of making its rounds on YouTube, that was actually fan made, and it's called Final Fantasy IX Memoria Project. And if you haven't seen this video, check it out because it's absolutely bloody amazing with what they did. Basically, kind of what their vision is of what the Final Fantasy IX remake should look like. It's a 25-minute video, but it was all made in UE5, and it's absolutely mind-blowing with how much detail they put in and still kind of kept that original cartoonish nature of what Final Fantasy IX originally was.
I will also say this too. Did you play the Matrix tech demo that they had with Unreal Engine 5?
No.
That was incredible. It was
No, I definitely did not.
Yeah, they did release one and it was super realistic. I think this is a fantastic move on their part, but it also does push the envelope too that this is going to continue to be next gen or current gen only, and I'm all for that. And Ryder said it best: the advancement of technology is fantastic. The other thing too. Sorry, I hear one of the dogs playing with something out here outside the door here. And just touching base on Queen's Blood, it's not a shock that they're wanting to bring that back and they want to improve that. Ryder, how much time did you lose playing Queen's Blood in that game?
Oh, I lost so much time. I lost so much time playing Queen's Blood. I mean, I grew up on card games, so like I played Magic the Gathering, I played Legend of the Five Rings. I played the WWE card game when that was out. Remember that? Remember that blast from the past? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the card games have always been my jam.
Yeah. So I'm excited that they're doing that. I'm excited that they're going to be moving to Unreal Engine 5. I think Chu just hit the nail right on the head that it's mature enough now that everyone should be using it. I can't disagree with that. I do know that quite a few developers have moved towards that and have used it way more often, and it's stunning. Um, and I believe Black Myth Wukong used it as well, and it's visually an amazing looking game as well. So I'm excited to get my hands on that here next week as well. So yeah, absolutely agree with you on that. Unreal Engine 5 should be law of the land basically for when it comes to development in my mind. Or of course having their own engine created that's equivalent to.
Yeah, and I just checked. Black Myth Wukong is indeed on UE5.
I figured it would be. Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe with the final game and the remake installment being on U5, we won't have those terrible lighting glitches we had in Rebirth. Oh my god, some of those were so scary.
Yeah,
so
some
scary.
of them were bad.
Yeah, there's quite a few games that are on that Unreal Engine 5. Even ones that have been released way back. Like even Layers of Fear is on Unreal Engine 5. Oddly enough, and that game's been out for forever. Ark is on Unreal Engine 5.
First Descendant.
Oh well, okay. If this wasn't already a confirmation, then this will definitely do it. Another game that's currently on Unreal Engine 5, Kingdom Hearts 4, is listed on here. So guess what? That game's coming.
Yeah, that's actually on the list I sent you guys as well for games.
We know that the game's coming. We just don't know.
Yeah.
The game list of what's to be determined to be released. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Anyway.
All right. So before we get to our final news story, if you've liked what you've seen so far, don't forget to drop a like on this video. And if you're new here, also subscribe. We love to see that subscriber count go up. So let's get into our last story, and that is that The Witcher 4 will feature Geralt of
Rivia.
Rivia?
Geralt of
That's
Rivia.
it. Yeah. Geralt of Rivia. I knew it was Geralt, but not as a main character. Geralt of Rivia's voice actor Judd. What the hell? Doug Conkle has revealed that the White Wolf will star in the next mainline Witcher game, codenamed Polaris, but not as the main character. Developer CD Projekt Red has long made it clear that Geralt's saga has come to, meaning a new protagonist, fully. Oh my God, my brain! Come on, let's go. We're live. Was fully expected for Polaris, but this is the first confirmation he'll be in the next game at all, and fuels rampant fan theory. So, Maverick, you are our resident Witcher expert. What do you think Geralt will be doing in the fourth game?
Drinking.
I think very much so.
Drinking and saying.
I heard a joke that it'd be kind of funny to create your own Witcher and to be just sitting in a hot tub with beside him and just soaking it all in. Geralt at the end of Witcher 3 and the DLC, he kind of retired. He was given property and a house, basically in a vineyard. So I'm kind of expecting that there's going to be a couple missions in Tucson where you're going to be able to go down and hunt some kind of monster. And I'm thinking maybe you might have a team, like you might team up with them. I'm going to join the rallying fans, though. I would love to see the ability to craft your own Witcher. That's what I'd like to see in this case. I'm not expecting that, but it would be nice to see. I know that it's a new school that they're introducing as well. There's been no references to it at all. It's School of the Lynx, so you're not going to have a chance to choose a school, which I think would be awesome. To be your School of the Lynx or School of the Wolf, School of the Bear, Griffin. They're the Manicore. There's so many different schools that are out there. There's probably more schools than there are houses in. I think I said that right. Houses in Harry Potter. Um,
Yes.
so I'm excited to see what they do with this, but I would like to be able to make your own Witcher. I think that would be fantastic. Um, I don't think choosing hunting you. I hope. I got a feeling it's going to be a team up. Like Witchers, sometimes if they come across things, um, they do sometimes team up if it's a larger fight, and if it's in his backyard, he's going to get involved because it's Witchers typically die with the swords in their hands. They fight to the death basically, um, and they don't die old in their beds. I think is the saying. Um, so we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for this game. I don't. I think they're saying that 4 is coming out before the remake of 1. No, I'm still excited to see 1 come out first, and I can't wait to get my hands on that remake. I haven't played 1. I haven't played 2. I've played the hell out of 3, and I've started reading the books. So I'm very excited to see which direction they go. I think this is a great decision to not have them in directly as the main character, but have him in the game. And it's kind of fan service basically for that case.
Yeah, I mean,
Chewie was just
you got to
saying.
tie off the lore. Sorry, go ahead there, Rob.
I was just saying, Chewie was just saying maybe he's a professor.
I mean, I could totally see him being, yeah, like it's exactly kind of how Mav described it. It'll be like he's aging, he's venerable, not vulnerable, venerable. There's a difference. Um, where yeah, like you can definitely see like the age is getting to him, the years of combat have gotten to him,
Right.
and at some point during the story, he's you're gonna team up with him to clear out hordes of monsters and things like that, and he's gonna have one final hurrah at some point in the game where where eventually he's gonna die the way he wants to die.
So it's going to be, as I said, it's going to be interesting with what they do because I know you guys aren't familiar with the lore.
Make him a sad
Um,
dad. There we go.
I, in order for a character to become a witcher, you got to go through a trial called the trial of the grasses. You have a bunch of chemicals that are dumped into your body that give you the additional adrenaline and speed and strength. Think of it as a fantasy version of the super soldier serum is what it is. It also extends their life. I think he's like 200 years old in the games. It's something ridiculous like that as well. Um, and the Trial of the Grasses can't be done anymore. So the Witchers are basically gone. So I mean, it's possible that maybe Geralt does have a thought pattern of, hey, I'm one of the last few Witchers that are out there. Lambert and Eskel are still out there. Hear that, Netflix? Eskel is still alive in the games. Sorry, a little bit of an angry
much?
rant there. Um, so I there's few of them out there. Um, so maybe they're going to turn around and say, "Hey, you know what? Monsters still exist. As soon as once we're gone, there's going to be no one to defend the people that are left." So maybe he will have that thought pattern and go up to Kaer or start a new school so that he can train witchers. There's a pile of possibilities, and the author of the series is directly involved as well, which is going to just make it that much better.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be good to see it continue on. I mean, obviously the story has to go in a different direction, but much like they're planning on doing with with the end of Star Wars, they're gonna eventually branch off and make a story about Rey's continuation. I don't see Witcher being any different. Obviously the story is gonna end with Geralt, but you're gonna have this new Witcher. Whatever it happens may be, and I totally agree with you. I think character customization would definitely benefit the game. I mean, honestly, I mean, let's be real. Anybody who's ever played a game, especially for something long where you can get to create your own character, that's always the best part of the game is getting to make your own character. You get to make
Right.
something that's so uniquely you, or something that you can relate to, something you can live with, something you can be proud of. Whether that be Witcher, you can do it in Diablo, you do it in Star Wars, you do it in this game, that game.
Well,
Obviously, there's
the one theory that they have out there too. Sorry, Ryder, didn't mean to cut you off there. One of the theories that they have though is that the game will be featuring Cirilla as the main character. And if that's the case, she will be the very first female Witcher, and she's not going to be able to go through the Trial of the Grasses, but she has her own abilities in her own right. But yes, I agree. Customization's huge.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of pretty much all I had to say on it. Like I said, I've never really played the Witcher games. I think I tried playing the first one, didn't get through it because I thought the combat was awful. So,
hey, the third one now is on PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium, and that's going to be happening here this month. So hey,
I will add it to my library because it's free. And it'll probably stay in the library if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I got stuff in my Steam library that I haven't played yet. So, and
you don't even want to take a look at mine.
No. I heard Trial of the Grasses, and all I could hear was Tommy Chong going, "Fire out, man."
Oh man. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. That's right. I'm the Witcher. What do I kill? Dave's not here, man.
Oh, but there's a vampire down the street.
Oh, right, man.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I think that's all the news that we have, isn't it?
I think so. I was just about to say, yeah, that's all the news. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Set for next week in Gamescom. Bring it
exactly. On. Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth. That's like I said, showcases are always an exciting time, not just for us as content creators, but I think for us as podcasters as well. It kind of sucks that we're not going to be able to do it like live, like right when it happens, because I don't know what it is with showcase and whatnot now. Now they're always doing them in the middle of a week on an afternoon when everybody's working. Like, what are we doing?
Isn't this one happening in Berlin, Germany?
I think so, but at the same time, you're still doing it in the middle of a week.
Yeah,
and obviously you're gonna. But okay, here's the thing to consider here too, is well, I guess what time would it be over in Germany by the time it starts here?
It'd be 8:00.
Okay, so I guess yeah. So I guess in their terms, yeah, they'll have people being able to, to fill the theater seats.
The other,
but for the rest of us plebs,
I think they're doing it in the middle of the week, because there is actual showcases that they're wanting to do. Xbox has 3 days there as well that they're showcasing additional footage of their games.
Yeah.
And there's also a future game show as well, which I believe will be focusing on indie games, which I know Monster is very excited for. I can't blame him.
Hey, there's lots of gems in those indie games.
Oh, hell yeah.
There's a lot happening next week for that. So, I mean, I want to try keeping everybody posted with the trailers and stuff that are coming out. It's going to be very, very delayed for me here next week. I will do what I can. I'm not going to be able to watch it live like I was. Typically, I was still watching it live and then reacting and having conversations with you guys as well. And still posting the trailers on my Facebook page, which is the New Geek Corner. Check that out on Facebook.
Well, I already done my outro.
Yeah, so, but I'll do what I can. As I said, there's a lot happening here for me next week. I'm on vacation. I'm away. So it's there's going to be a lot that I'm going to miss, but I'll do what I can to post as much as I can.
Yep, absolutely. And then for me, obviously you guys can still catch me over on Twitch. I've just finished up with Dragon Quest XI. I haven't completed the Platinum Trophy. There's a ton of mindless grinding that happens kind of on the back end of it, so it's not really fun to stream. You guys probably saw my most recent stream though, where I got to stream in Udi. So I did actually get to do one of my first sponsored streams in quite some time. So that was a lot of fun.
You looked like you were baking in that thing.
Dude, I was cooking in that thing. It's unreal. Like I'm not even gonna describe what the inside was like after the fact.
Smelled like a tauntaun.
Oh man, yeah. You think I smell bad on the outside? But yeah, like I said, that's where you're gonna find. That's where you guys are gonna find me. When was that? That was what day is today? Wednesday? That was Monday.
That was yesterday. No, that was yesterday, wasn't
Yeah, it was
Was it
yesterday.
yesterday? Oh yeah, it
it?
was
Was
yesterday.
yesterday.
That's right. Yeah. No, Monday I was gonna stream it, and then I delayed it by a day. That's right. Yeah, it was yesterday.
Ah,
Uh, who was it? Who was what? Who was the who was on the Odie? It was Rick and Morty, which I believe Mav
Pickle Rick.
predicted. Yeah, there was a Pickle Rick on it.
Yeah.
Oh, you were on the road for Rick. Okay, no, fair enough. But anyways, yeah, like I said, twitch.tv. As for what's coming up over the next couple of weeks, I'm not too sure. I'll have to try and think of something to play during these next couple of weeks up until Star Wars Outlaws comes out. I don't really want to start anything new because most of the stuff that I have that is new would probably take me longer than 2 weeks to finish. So,
Yep.
excuse me. You predicted it on the editing stream too. Yeah, that I think that's what it was. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah,
It was Chewy. He did predict it on the editing stream.
Yeah.
yeah. I'll still do
And
those for live streams too. If I run out of content to create, I'll live stream the editing process.
and sorry, you had a couple more streams though that are coming up there, Ryder.
Yeah, so Star Wars Outlaws is coming up at the end of the month, so I will be getting into live streaming that as soon as I can. After that, we'll transition into either potentially Visions of Mana. We'll kind of see what goes on there. So from between Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, those are kind of be the two next big ones. Dragon Quest 3, the 2D HD remaster is also coming as well. I will definitely be streaming that one for everybody. So yeah, that's where you're gonna find me on those, and also you will also find me over on YouTube as well with the same name, Rider Pride 639. I've been getting into some game reviews myself for some game keys that I've been granted through a company called Evolve PR. So for all of us here and for all of you out there, if you guys are looking to do some game reviews, especially when it comes to early access reviews, you can sign up on Evolve PR on their website. I believe they are based out of BC, if I'm not mistaken. So they are a Canadian company. I've worked. There's a wonderful woman by the name of Kate who goes by the online handle Malkari. She basically kind of got more or less got me into this whole Evolve PR thing. So big thanks to those folks for granting me the keys and being able to do some game reviews. It's going to be a lot of mostly indie stuff. It's not really any sort of mainstream stuff. But there's always fun little games that will come across my table that every now and then I'll end up actually liking. Like, for example, this Tales of Old Rust when I did the reviews for that one. I did live streams on Twitch and I did reviews on YouTube. So, yeah. So find me on Twitch, find me on YouTube, RiderPride639. That's me.
And I'll just touch base since we're talking about reviews. So the reviews that I've got that will be coming up. So Black Myth Wukon, there'll be Outlaws. I might ask Ryder to do a review for me for Visions. Space Marine 2 for sure. Astrobot, Silent Hill, the Diablo 4 DLC, of course, Call of Duty, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. If there's anything else that comes up, I'll probably be touching base on that here in the next few weeks once we get actual solid release dates. So those are going to be the games that I'm going to be focusing on reviewing on my Facebook page at the New Geek Corner. For streaming, probably just join these gentlemen more for some more Helldivers at some point in time. I'm sure we'll be getting Fighting for Liberty again here soon. But we're going to let everything kind of cool off a little bit more, and then we'll maybe jump into that here in the next few weeks. But outside of that, that's going to be the only streaming that I've got in mind at this point, at least, anyways.
Cool. And you can catch me on my YouTube channel, Irish Bandit Rob. I post videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I am currently on Mondays. I am doing the playthrough of the Doki Doki Literature Club mod Relapse. On Wednesdays, I am playing Guardians of the Galaxy. And starting on Friday, I am playing my favorite game of all time, Final Fantasy VII, the original. So it's going to be fun looking back at that game and comparing it to Remake and Rebirth and see how it still holds up all these years later. And got a few more things coming down the pipeline. I'm officially ready to announce the video that I've been working on. It is my theory of why I think Monica from the game Doki Doki Literature Club was not the villain of the game. I'll get into that more during that video. That is coming up in September. I'm pushing for the actual 8-year anniversary of Doki Doki Literature Club, but we'll see how everything plays out. I'm just starting to go through and getting gameplay footage right now. Got the script written. Now I just got to do the voiceover. But all that happens in its own time. So yeah, you can join me over on my YouTube channel. All of our links are in the description down below where you find us elsewhere on social media. You can follow us on Level 1 Lounge on Facebook, Twitter, on Blue Sky Social. All of our personal media, social media, and all that will be in the link below. Where is it? I can't find it. I was going to hawk my book. Go buy Shade Falling on Amazon as well.
Great book. I bought 2.
You did? But I think that does it for this week, gentlemen. So thank you for joining me. Thank you to everyone in the chat for chatting along. And if you already haven't, hit like, hit subscribe. And yeah, this was fun. So
First time doing it live.
yeah, well, yeah, it has been for an actual episode. Yeah. So for Rider Pride 639 and for Adrian Maverick 86, I am the Irish Bandit. We will see you again very, very soon, and we'll see you on the next level. Take care.